Therefore, I find it very plausible that Bitcoin has played a significant role in these electoral cycles. Is this how Satoshi intended it to work? Not at all. Yet that is a more extensive tale. What gives? The markets despise ambiguity, don't you think? Uncertainty is what they shudder about. Plus, once the election is over, everything becomes much clearer, doesn't it? We are approaching that stage as we approach the election. As a result, people are hoping to have more assurance. People will still say things like, oh, well, I need Bitcoin in that case too, even if the election results aren't exactly Bitcoin friendly like when Biden was elected. For that reason, I believe. Regarding party concerns, this is not an assertion. It is not an assertion regarding the power law, which is unrelated to those fundamental 6 months. Basically, this is only for the near future. The data for the near term is looking favorable, in my opinion. In the next 6 months, do you think we can accomplish a doubling? Yes, I do. That is, in a sense, my opinion. Actually, I'm assuming that. According to mathematician and Bitcoin maximalist Fred Krueger, the price of Bitcoin fluctuates in relation to election cycles. Even though this was not intended by Bitcoin's creator, it has occurred. The markets are sensitive to periods of high uncertainty, such as those just preceding elections. The markets, including Bitcoins, will benefit from the clarity that will follow the elections. Bitcoin will continue to have supporters no matter what happens. People still discovered uses for Bitcoin after Joe Biden's victory. Krueger believes this means Bitcoin's value might significantly increase over the next 6 months. Listen up, everyone, because Fred Krueger has some exciting news regarding Bitcoin. We are now again at 67,000. Gold outperforms stocks and Bitcoin outperforms all other assets in this episode. However, we will also discuss the election cycle and my thoughts on how this relates to the Bitcoin cycles. I see. First things first, let's talk on the headline. Clickbaity claims that gold is better than equities and that everything else is terrible. Allow me to provide you with this post written by Charlie Morris. You should start following Charlie Morris immediately if you aren't already. I mean, I do. I think this is really awesome, even though he's a gold bug. I get it. In January of 1988, he began with a $100 index. Apologies, but this was in January of 2000, correct? Accordingly, our starting point is 100, as is the starting point for the SP in gold. Where does the SP stand after 25 years? Well, that original $100 is now $600. Quite remarkable, isn't it? Nevertheless, gold has improved, hasn't it? The price of gold that was invested in 2000 is now $841. Consequently, it has largely surpassed it throughout the full 25 years. The SP 500 has always been above it. Now, remember when the SP 500 was really low? I thought it was going to be about 100, but it went all the way up to 700. Listed here, however, it returned, the gap was filled, and we are currently at an all-time high for the gap. The question that remains, in my opinion, is where does the SP return originate? The printing of money is where it originates from, isn't it? The SP rises as more money enters the market. Home prices reflect this. Asset prices factor it in. Printing more money accomplishes that. It transfers between different value stores. A tangible store of value is where it goes, the SP 500s. Meteoric rise is thus hardly unexpected given the printing of such currency. Naturally, Bitcoin's performance over the past quarter of a century has surpassed that of both gold and the SP. It has failed to deliver despite being in existence since 2009. My second point concerns the current election season. I also tweeted about how I believe the election cycle has a significant impact on Bitcoin price. And people usually think, well, it's a supply shock. We're just going to concentrate on the 3 months leading up to the election and the 3 months following the election, and there will be some pretty amazing results if we do this. Then what do we receive? From 11 to 31 in just 6 months in 2012, we aimed to nearly triple our just 2 years ago. In 2016, we increased by 575 to 1,062. Our 2020 numbers increased thrice, from 12,000 to 38,000. Consequently, the focus is squarely on those 6 months. Therefore, the story isn't as good when compared to the halve, so it appears. The story of before the halving, after the halving, it went up is difficult to weave in. Even if there were 3 halvings in November 2012, May 2016, and April 2020, some explanation like there was a delay or it took some time is required. Therefore, I find it very plausible that Bitcoin has played a significant role in these electoral cycles. Is this how Satoshi intended it to work? Not at all. Yet that is a more extensive tale. What gives? The markets despise ambiguity, don't you think? Uncertainty is what they shudder about. There will be much less doubt once the election is finished, won't there? There is a hope for greater clarity as we approach the election, and we are indeed coming close to that point. A reinterpretation of an election, such as Biden's, can lead some to claim, well, I need Bitcoin in that case too. This can happen, even if the outcome isn't necessarily Bitcoin friendly. Therefore, in my opinion, this is not a political remark. It is not an assertion regarding the power law, which is unrelated to those fundamental 6 months. Basically, this is only for the near future. The data for the near term is looking favorable, in my opinion. In the next 6 months, do you think we can accomplish a doubling? Yes, I do. That is, in a sense, my opinion. Actually, I'm assuming that.